Hey guys, my name is Cidiac and welcome back to another episode of OilTown here in City Skylines 2, where today we're going to make preparations to building our very own airport in the city. And when I say in the city, I don't actually mean in the city right now, boys. I actually mean, hold on, big game jump right there. What I mean is on the island, but not even on the island. We're going to have our very own dedicated airport island here. Now, we're going to set up some preparations today because it's actually quite the big task than you think to be able to implement a said airport. We've got to buy all the tiles. We've got to create a connection over to the island. And we've also got to figure out as well, boys, what would be the best type of airport to build, as we have two variants we can pretty much choose from. So before we get into it, before we figure it all out, I was going to say right now, please smash that like button down below if you are new around here. Subscribe if you are new, guys. It really does help me out and I really do appreciate it right now, so you get notified when each and every single episode does come out. And leave a comment saying thank you for playing some more and we'll do just that. So what we're going to do first then is going to get everything all up. Now, the reason why having an airport is going to be vital for the island is because as of right now, we only have one way to bring people to the island, and that is via a cruise ship, which it is, if I'm not mistaken, over here picking people up. Now, to be honest with you, this area kind of needs some stuff to be able to handle what's going on. So I might place some services down here to kind of bulk things up anyway. But that's the only way to get people in. Now, if we implement an airport, it's an additional, there's a plane going past right now, boys. We then have an additional way to bring people all in. And last episode, I did my biggest population boost to date. There's still so much zoning that they've got to fill up and build up on right now. But I've never had as many kind of people moving in as I have done in the last episode. My population is slowly climbing up. If I kind of span this out, when you take a look at over the 5 years, it's only recently, it's skyrocketed. And with what I've done, I'm hoping to get to 100,000. So yeah, airport's going to be vital, but I've got a few kind of questions I want you guys to really help me out with moving forward. So if I just buy all the tiles that surround the actual island itself, so I have full access to it, I can then build upon it. So in the game, it gives us two options for an airport. It gives us this one here, which is airport, as it's literally called right now. Can I rotate it? Yep, there we go. And obviously I can place this down. Glorious. It does contain a train station, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or we can utilize the upgrade of a train station. And then our other option or variant is the international airport. Now this is a big boy. Now this obviously has a lot more capacity. I really don't know how many planes we're going to be seeing. And I would have to do some land reclamation for this one to be able to get to fit on the island. But could you imagine this at the very end here, watching planes land and take off? That would be absolutely amazing, wouldn't it? But either way, it doesn't really matter which one we kind of pick. I've got to be able to implement the connections leading over to the island, which is, like I said, a lot more difficult than you fully expect. Now, I don't know whether this one has a train connection. I think it does have a train connection. It should say here, shouldn't it? Integrated train station, taxi stands, which is all great. This one has flight connections. How much the difference in them? Right, okay. What do you guys reckon? Can be upgraded airport services, a business lounge, and a cargo terminal. Now, we don't really have cargo trains going around, so that really wouldn't make much difference for us. So what do you reckon, guys? Out of the two, which one should we pick? Let me know in the comment section down below, and whatever gets the most popular vote is the airport that we're going to be choosing. Now, in the meantime, we got to get this airport or this airport island pretty much all set up. And one of the main things we got to do is bring over a road connection so we can access the island when people come to and from, and also be able to bring the ability over for public transport all at the same time. So we need to buy actually a few more tiles. I'm actually going to buy the remainder of these tiles here. I might as well buy these two. It's going to cost me, it's going to actually cost me an absolute fortune. Let me deselect these. Holy smokes, I didn't realize how much this is all costing me. Right, let me scrap that. Let me just buy what I want to buy. So basically, right, I want to buy these tiles here. I think that might be enough. Let me just buy them. Now, what I want to do is I want to extend the highway leading ground, and the highway is going to continue before then turning to go through. And if I remember correctly, there is a little bit of a dip here. Is there? Can we see it on the yeah, we can. We can just about see it on the topography. There is a dip here, which we're going to run the highway down, which accesses this area in general. So the highway is going to go up, and then it will kind of turn to match up with that. Now, round this area is where we're going to create a big interchange that leads the highway over to connect to the airport island. We also need to set up as well the ability for the subway that comes down here to also turn to have access over here as well. Now, we do have the subway terminal there, but I'm not going to utilize that to passing over. We're going to kind of run it up because I feel like there might be 1 or 2 more stops leading into it, which should be pretty interesting. So without moving too much forward right now, I kind of want to play around with smoothing off the terrain now at this point. So we're going to, oh, that's not, oh, I thought that was smoothing. What an idiot. What a folio, boys. I thought that was the, I picked the wrong one. I picked the wrong one. My bad. My bad. Right, what I'm going to do right now is push all this back as much as I can here. There's only so much you can actually do without leveling it all off and then moving it back ourselves. So eat it back a bit more and then smoothing it all off. Soften terrain. That's what I'm looking for, boys, is the softening tool. Now, we do go dramatically now uphill, so we kind of have to be a little bit careful with how this is now going to work. And I reckon at the same time, I'm going to delete this road here and then we'll build off it ourselves. So that smoothens that area off here. This highway looks like it's eventually going to come onto the ground. So that either needs to rise up quite a bit, or we then implement this on the ground. Now, I don't think it needs to be elevated anymore at this point, so I think that might be probably the best way to go about it. So let's level off a nice big chunk of area around here. We'll smooth it all off eventually, and that's going to lead down to there. There we go. Eat this back a bit, and then we can kind of work with it. So smoothing it all off, run it into there, down to here as well. Smoothie, smoothie, smoothie. Quite a big drop on this side, but that's where we can create this vast bridge going all the way over, which, again, very, very excited about this. Right, so the road in question, we kind of need to build it around here. Oh, we also need to pick a spot in where the interchange is going to happen. So if I level this out and bring this to about there, I think that will be pretty much great for us. And then we'll sort the rest of the terrain out moving forward eventually anyway. So big interchange here, which will lead us over into a big bridge. Now, the question is, do I build the bridge now? And then plan everything else pretty much then off the bridge? That, again, could be a pretty decent way to go forward. So that's going to lead all the way in. Actually, no, let me just see what room I do and what I'm going to have. So running this pretty much straight, you hit the ground running about there. So now we're on the ground. Now we're working with the terrain. So I'm going to run this that far. Actually, I've still got a little bit further I can pretty much go. Right, run this all the way up, and we'll bring it up to about there. It's still snapped. And then we'll figure out where we do our big interchange bend. It might be on a little bit of a diagonal, which shouldn't be too bad. It shouldn't be too bad. Now, I've got the option to either make it turn straight away. I think I might make it turn instantly as well. So let's pick a point right now, which I reckon the point's going to be about here. So, or do I do like a 45 degree coming off? That could also be another beautiful way to kind of set this area up. So coming off there, if I do a 45 degree, I think that might turn away slightly. I think it's a little bit less. We'll do a 40 degree. Right, 40 degree angle, and then that runs down. Right, so then all this here can be deleted. I'll delete one off. I'll delete one off there. Actually, we'll go 2 off, and that then implements our beautiful bend. So, with that then all said and done and dusted, Let me run this all the way to the end as well, but obviously this has got to be flipped going back. Glorious, glorious, glorious. And then do the same for this side as well. So run it all the way down. I'm not sure if that is the right spacing. I'm not too sure. Now, how this is going to end here, we're not too sure just yet. That'll be when we kind of build this area up. But let's see what kind of bend we can then squeeze in, and then we're going to have to set things all up for this area. So running down, that is a 242 by a 245 I could go, or I can just smack it bang on there. We'll just do that, boys. So there to there, that all bends in. So no dramas with that. Does exactly what I need to do, but all of a sudden, right, it comes a part of this. Now, I can either smoothen the terrain out, right, or we can slightly elevate this road a bit more, so keep it up as a bridge, maybe. About there, that works, doesn't it, boys? Yep, yep, yep. So that now comes down to the ground, and now we're going more suburban in this area, you know what I mean? It becomes slightly suburban, and then as you start to get elevated, you know you're going into the town of OilTown, which is pretty good. So, with this then, we're going to create a big trumpet interchange here that leads us over into that direction. So I think we should start, right, with the actual bridge in question, and then we'll link everything up to it as we pretty much then go. So, should I start here maybe? Where would be the best place to start it? Now, it will be up as a elevation here, because it's going to have to go up and over the highway. So, we'll kind of pick... If I just randomly pick a spot, this is where I have to figure out where the best way to go about this would be. So, I'm going to pull it here. And if I bring it all the way over... And this is now just completely random. This complete random placement has now just decided the entirety of this connection. So that goes there, and then we run this all the way back. So that has just decided its whole fate. So that's going to come over and then trumpet to the left as a connection, so it kind of goes into the bend. Oh, this is exciting, boys. This really is. So what I've got to do now then, we've kind of built trumpets in the past in here. This is a really nice one, but it all merges in as one. Now, that's a good point, actually. Do I really want to, I mean, how much traffic am I going to see that it needs to be two bridges? I don't think it needs to. So what I'm going to do then is actually switch it out one more time, but we'll do the 4-lane. I'll actually upgrade this right now to the 4-lane. See, that's a little bit different now, isn't it? That is a little bit different. So it stays raised up, but the earth and the mound here kind of catches up with it. So this is where I can now start pushing the landscaping back a bit now. Right, smoothing all that off. And it's not as harsh then, is it? So I also have the option, though, at the same time, to play around with the bridges. Like, I could do a 4-lane suspension bridge. And maybe start that. I mean, is that a 4-lane? Oh, it's 4-lane one way, 5-lane one way. 3-lane, 2-lane. Okay, that's not how I expected it to be, actually. So, scrap that. We'll leave it as it is for now. Scrap that idea. I thought I could do like a 4-lane with like a big bridge. Or is it the 4? It's the 4-lane road I'm thinking about, isn't it? So that's actually a 6-lane. That's an 8-lane. That's a Golden Gate style. Which that might be. I can anarchy it all in, couldn't I? It might be a little bit too much, that. That's 6 lanes. I don't want 6 lanes, and neither do I want 8 lanes. There's not going to be that much traffic, so I'm okay. To put it politely, guys, I'm okay. I'm okay. So 2-lane road anyway. Let's get that in the middle. And let's bring this completely over the junction. So that goes all the way over to there, and we'll bring it a little bit further. There we go. So that's where it kind of then splits into a single as it goes up and over, and then we're going to completely bend it all around. So I want to make these bends quite big, and I also want to then slowly drop it off. So if I did a 140 by a 144, and then we'll drop it down by 5. And then a 144 by a 140. Okay, we're not really going to get that, but this should be completely fine anyway. And then we can bring this down to the ground now, couldn't we? That's a 160. That's a bit too much. 144. Bending right round. And then going straight. Just a tad. So then where we then split it to go where it needs to go. So a nice big wrapping around bend. This is actually perfect for us. That's actually perfect. And then we've got to bring down the little single lanes coming in. So let's start with this one first. So bringing it right down to where it connects in. And then bend this with us. So 116 by a 117. That will work. And then I've got to do the same here, but I might need to flip it around. 125 by 125. But then flip it round. Now, for the sake of lane math, you know your boy likes lane math. Right now, this shows you how I'm such an old school City Skylines player. That I still implement lane math. I'm actually not a fan of how it's just done that connection there. Let me see if we can kind of sort that out. So for those who don't know about the lane math right now, it's what we all did. And it's what you should do in reality. There we go. Because how it works is 2 lanes hurtling down. If one pretty much turns off, make it a dedicated turn off so everyone's filtered down here. So if everyone's filtered here, it means the turn on is free to merge. Now you don't have to do it. It doesn't really happen everywhere around the world. I mean, it's not a major thing that you would see in the UK. You'll just normally have a slip road coming off. But it's what we used to do in City Skylines 1 because that is how the AI traffic kind of worked. And I feel like a lot of us kind of continue those building techniques over into City Skylines 2. Even though in City Skylines 2, they merge at the last minute, which is so annoying. But it is what it is. But look at that beautiful beautiful junction on that one side right there. That's really nice, isn't it? So now we've got to implement pretty much the same thing from here down to there. Now, I might go big. Because we've got the room to play around here, I might just go completely big. So if I start on this side, from there, and we say, is that elevated by the way? There we go. So if I go from there to here, which is a 2, 4, 2, I could go as far as here with the bend. And that looks a lot nicer. So I could bridge it up there, until it hits down. And that becomes a nicer transition, doesn't it? That becomes a much nicer transition. So do the same here. So if I pick it there. So that's a... Oh, this one's not going to play ball that much. Because the way we kind of bend off it. So I reckon we do this one a little bit differently. How does this one look? No, we're going to cut it back a bit more. We're going to redo that. So I'll keep it all elevated at the same time. So coming off this. How does that look? Now the issue is I had Anarchy on the whole time. So you kind of lose that a little bit. Scrap that all off. And then get rid of Anarchy. Let's raise this up to 10. And let's try again. No, I much prefer it coming from over here. Oh, that's a bridge. Hold on. Is that throwing me off slightly? Maybe it was. I'm not too sure. Right, anyway, we're losing time here, guys. We're losing time. So if I'm going to come off here. Bend this up into there. Right. That will do us. There's not really any major things we kind of need to play around with this. We just got to turn what we need to into a elevated bit of road. And voila! As simple as that is, it's very effective. These are really, really effective ways in which you can kind of create these highway connections. So, guys, be honest right now. Does it feel like it's starting to be a more suburban, rural vibe right now compared to the inner city? I feel like it is. So no matter what way you want to go, if you want to go to the airport from this way, you go round, turn off there, round, and then straight in, which is absolutely perfect. And that sets us up just nicely to access that area. Now, if we need turn-offs here and there, they will be a little bit different now. Because the traffic's going to really start to thin out in this area, you'll see things slightly starting to change. But that sets us up very, very nicely. That really does set us up very nicely. There's no need to do any more terraforming right now. It's absolutely perfect for this area. So we've got the road all now hooked up, ready for the airport island. We'll get this all set up next episode and implement our very own airport. I'm so excited. In the meantime, though, subway. We are going to utilize subway as one of the main connections to get into this area. And I reckon, right, we should have the subway kind of appear, if that's the best way to put it. Just appear not out of nowhere, but just appear for us. So there's no way in which I can kind of create a snap on this, is there? There's no, like, ability for me to go, hey, can you run along here? So if I built this like that, we'll get to see the subway train run alongside the bridge. But I've got to get it to mimic itself down here. So if I ran this... I mean, how close do I want to get it? The subway line's just there. I can make it bend and then pop up. So I'm going to bring that to about there for just a minute. Oh, that's elevated still, isn't it? Right, that's now on the ground. That's now on the ground, boys. And let's see what I can do here. So, coming straight out, that's where the connection would be. A 152. Apparently it's a 152 by a 152 would be here, which is a little bit too close for comfort. That looks like a better spacing. And back on the ground. There we go. So it's a way for the subway to then, for the first time ever, pop up above ground. No, it does it here, but we don't actually see it on a line. And then go along with the bridge to access a commuter stop for the airport island. So with this now in question, I've got to get it connected up here. So I reckon we got a couple of options, but I reckon we maybe pull it back slightly and then instantly make it go underground. So down by 20 to about there. Oh, that's still not underground. Oh, I think it's not underground because it's set to be stuck to the ground. Right. What a fool, Zeniac. What a fool right now. Let's try that one again. That should now be underground, which it is. And if I can do this just right, it's going to be a complex curve. Just so I can get it connected there. So it looks like it just runs naturally down, but you don't really see the little curve there. And that sets us up nicely right now for us to kind of bend round. Now, obviously, we'll have like connections over here. So what we could then eventually do is have a secondary line that would remain underground. I don't know how this is going to play itself out. That would go like straight this way. Can I anarchy that? So if I implemented you like... Oh, okay, right. I see why it's not working. I'm not on the right elevation, am I? So there's a secondary line that would continue to go straight, which is going to be utilized for all the connections around here moving upwards. So that will be where we implement a third line in for our whole subway connection. Oh, this is really exciting. I can see all this stuff now happening. Right, this is good. We've got the road access, we've got the subway access right now, which pops up above ground so we can at least see the trains. Otherwise, building a tunnel would have been a little bit difficult. And we've got the extension line to go down to here when we implement and work with this area. So that's pretty much all set up then. And like I said, I'll let you guys decide what airport we choose in the next episode to build. But we are pretty much connected up from day one. And now all of a sudden we've got all this area to work with and expand with as well. So that's even more exciting. Now, what I want to do next is a few more things we got to kind of like fix before we can kind of get people arriving via air. We've first got 70,000 people in for the first time, which is really exciting. Very excited about that. Still a lot of zoning still for them to build up right now, which is kind of crazy. We've got the demand coming in for the medium. Did we not have medium demand over here? I think that's all low density, isn't it? Yeah, that is all low. So a little bit of medium. I'll eventually get filled, you know, when I kind of start zoning it. But I want to take a look over here because for the longest time, we have neglected this area. And for the first time, I'm going to buy the tiles here. So buy them tiles just so I can actually... I mean, I didn't need to, but it's just so I can kind of work this area and just provide some stuff that will kind of help us out. So I'm just going to create a little kind of additional area here. Now, we got a few problems with the buildings here, which means it's not working at its full potential. The efficiency is really, really low. And you can see here when I go in the efficiency, minus mail handling, minus garbage piled up, and we also need, there's a crime scene going on as well. So we'll place down a really small police station to begin with. There we go. So we got some policing opportunities on this little mini island. We'll place down the mail right now. So we'll do the post office? No, small post box. That's what we'll implement just there. Small little post box there. I'll go and collect the mail from the two buildings and whatnot. We also need to sort out something to do with garbage as well. We've got landfill, incineration, or recycling. Now, all these are just way too big for us. They are just way too big for us. But I've got to get something in for this area. So I'll get a recycling plant in, which is way too big for what we need in this vicinity. But it should be what we need for this vicinity right now. It should be for what we need. So they should then take care of what's going on over here. Granted, no one works here right now. So you have to wait for the employees to get over before they then start spawning the police cars and doing what they need to do. But I think that's the only issues popping up, right? I mean, I could, for the sake of it, put down fire. But there's no icon complaining about fire right now. Right, there's garbage there. Is there going to be garbage trucks appearing? Oh, there's already a garbage truck collecting right now. So that's now going to go around and do what it needs to do. Right, that's now driving down. It's going to hopefully collect the garbage up once it gets through this huge taxi jam. Will it actually physically pick up the garbage? There's two trucks now on the way. Come on, you're almost there, boy. You're almost there. These trucks are almost there. They're fighting to get in. They're fighting to get in. So then I just picked up all the trash. So this is now firing on all cylinders. Apparently there's -10 for mail handling, but I think we'll have to wait for the mail to get delivered over there or something like that. Pretty much. There is a post van now delivering, so we have to wait for that. So they're now firing on all cylinders, so hopefully they can now be a lot more efficient for us. Same with this over here as well. And then in the long run, it means, you know, we just make more money. That's all we can hope for. That is literally all we can hope for. So we'll see how we got on with that. It could be a good thing. It could be a negative thing. You know what? No, it's not going to be a negative thing because it's literally efficiency, isn't it? It's just making my buildings over there a bit more efficient. You might start seeing it bringing more passengers over. That might be the thing that you kind of see change from all of this. Now, we do have some medium density demand that we do need to spend. So let's see what we can do around this little campus area. You got to see, we can do row houses, or we can do like the actual building, medium density buildings. And we can, I mean, I need to start building some new residential areas in reality. We can fill you in just there with some medium. We'll do you for some medium as well. You for some medium. We've got some medium over here already. And it kind of makes sense now to squeeze a few medium buildings just around that little corner section. So that will kind of spend that demand straight away. The little gap that we do have over here, we're going to place down some commercial. So we'll do low density commercial. And what I'll also do is make this area walkable. So we'll create a path just off there going straight up. And then we'll do one just here leading into there. So all of a sudden that area is a lot more walkable. There's a lot of shopping facilities and there's a big server farm behind it anyway. Nearby, bus stops are nearby as well, right? There's one there. Oh, there's a couple just there as well. So bus stops are all nearby. Spends that demand. We're pretty much all good. Nice. Now, we implemented last episode the bus stops here. They seem to be working pretty well. Now, you don't see as many people here because this is the one they get off on to arrive here. This is one that they depart on. So there seems to be quite a few people waiting, and it's a case of the buses are empty everywhere, so it's a case of just letting the buses get to where they need to get to. Do you see many people waiting over here now? It's for the blue line, which the blue line... Oh, the blue line goes somewhere else. So all the buses are looking pretty full. So we'll squeeze an extra bus on. We'll squeeze an extra bus on there. Right. Very good, boys. Very good. These big buildings have a lot of residents in right now. Looking at over 1,000 residents in that one building alone. It's just kind of ridiculous, isn't it? Now, what other signature buildings do we have? We've got a few different real estate ones and architect. Now, these style of buildings you're going to save for the Hollywood Hills kind of thing that we're going to build up there. Commercials all done. Offices. It's difficult for the offices because at the end of the day, I did raise the taxes and a lot of stuff, which is why you don't see the offices building much. We got the iron press building, which I think will be quite nice around here somewhere. I feel like the iron press building will be a bit good building to overlook our awkward... I know I've just deleted that building. But to overlook our awkward junction here, it's quite a nice little thing for us to implement. Now, can we do some terraining here just to soften it up? I'm not sure how much we're going to be able to eat into it. But always soften it from the top. Pull it back. That then helps us out dramatically. Always soften from the top first because you pull it back. It gives you more space then to push it then down. Alright, there we go. That looks a lot better now, doesn't it? That does look a lot better. Very impressed with that, boys. Very impressed with it. So how's the education now looking? Because we are bringing a lot more people now in, and we are going to see a rapid increase. I feel like we need some schools around this area more importantly. So we'll do a city elementary, which we could... I mean, the metro system is just there, so implementing it here shouldn't be a bad idea. There we go. We'll add the additional stuff onto it, and that increases our elementary capacity. High school is the one. We need a city high school now. Now, I can't put it right behind, but what I might do is create a little alleyway just there, and then build it here. Build it there, add the extensions onto it. Rooftop little area as well. And then that gives us a little bit more facilities. Puts us in the green slightly. That works. So the only thing that we are missing overall is our technical university, which is eventually going to go here. But that's for a later date, okay? That is for a later date. So that gives us a little bit more capacity around these areas. And what are they most complaining about in the city? High taxes, noise pollution, small homes, lack of entertainment. I mean, I could throw in some additional... I mean, we've got a bunch of parks over there. Nothing really over here in reality. So we've got some larger variations of parks. That can create a nice little walk point through. Large plazas. I mean, it's what you want to implement, isn't it? It all comes down to what you really want to implement. Soccer field, American football. You got the smaller variations, which always work out pretty well. Little dog park. Pull it on the corner. I mean, it's not really much in this area, but it adds a little bit. Anyway, I'm getting carried away. So policing. So crime probability is really low, which is great. I've only got 2. Policing is really low. Fire. The average fire hazard is quite high. So it might be a good idea to implement a bigger fire station. We've got one there. City fire station. We have the big boy fire station we can implement over in the corner. Now, somewhere over here could be good. But with the radius it has, having it sound... We'll save that for a time that we can kind of really work with it. Because eventually, this big road here is going to bend round, go over there, and then move across. And then that's going to end this highway into this road. And then we've got a nice little loop going around the area so we can access everywhere. So we're pretty much just gearing up for that in reality. That's ultimately what we're doing. So, high taxes. Is it time I can now reduce my taxes? I think it might be the case. So if I reduce it back down to 10 for the commercial and the residential, that should make them very, very happy at this point. High taxes has now gone. High noise pollution and small homes. Now, before we do start building over in this vicinity, what's the air pollution saying? It's only really here. So this area here would predominantly be all industry anyway. Now, noise pollution's a big issue. I mean, yeah, there's not really much I can do about noise pollution. Well, I'm going to tell him all right now. Just buy some earplugs. That's all I can really suggest at this point, is buy some earplugs. Small homes, it is what it is. We're building a lot of large skyscraper-y kind of style vibes as well, and, you know, the small ones are small. But has that island now benefited from... Is that the cruise ship going over with 600 people on board? Holy smokes. That's now a lot more efficient. Okay. So you might see some big stuff happening there. So is this now more efficient. Cargo ship's not really bringing anything in. This one's leaving with some vehicles on for exporting. So yeah, we're getting there, boys. We are getting there. Now, do we need to double check on the little bus stations? There seems to be a lot of people waiting on this one. Now, this is the green route that they're waiting on. So the green line, which is the line that goes... Oh, it goes around here. And there's only, what, 2 buses on this? Wow, okay. So we'll increase the bus size, or the bus... We'll add 3 more buses on that. We can change the bus model, but the only other variant is the electric bus. So they're all waiting for that one line. I'm assuming it's that one line, right? Yeah, it is. That green one. So those new buses should get pumped out of the bus depot over here, which we probably do not have enough buses now at this point. So a garage extension would mean implementing it. We have to anarchy it in. Just there. That'll give us an extra 10 bus availability. I'm not sure if that is enough for it. But yeah, that bus route is that bad. I didn't realise we were struggling that much. We're okay over here though, right? Yeah, there's not that many people waiting there. And what about in this one? Where is it? Just get right in. There's a few people waiting for that one side, which is the red bus route. But that bus is now just arriving, so that should take a lot of people on board. Actually, no, it doesn't. Not a huge amount. So that red route goes around here. So we will... I'll add one extra bus. Oh, no. We're never... Oh, I'm about to say we're never having power issues. I think it's the bottleneck. It's a bottleneck issue, isn't it? So we need to see... Now the bottleneck... Oh, it's the capacitor. Right. So let's get... No, not a capacitor, sorry. A transformer station. We need an additional one. So we will implement... We'll implement one here. So we can come off this underground. Which... Oh, does that already connect to it? Yes. So it pushes the electricity for a different way. Oh my goodness me, I almost had a panic attack then, boys. I was going to get a little bit scared. Right, so... Have we seen the buses arrive yet? The green buses. The green bus route. Where are the buses? So there's a green bus now coming in. That gets a good chunk of people on board. Not the green bus we're after. But we should see them. We should see the green bus very soon arriving. Here we go. Here's one. Alright, that will then eat into the backlog. Right, hopefully that's a little bit of stress now over. Right, okay. So this episode alone, we've added nearly another 10,000 people in. So that's nearly 20,000 people added to the island in the last 2 episodes alone. Now, obviously that will come with its own issues. It will kind of mess around with the unemployment. It will decrease the education levels overall because everyone does arrive uneducated, but that's kind of okay anyway. Unemployment is now up to nearly 10%, and that will just keep increasing as time goes on as we keep bringing more and more people over. The job availability, again, that falls under unemployment, but you can see the areas that we fill everything. So it's not a case of a certain level of education needs to be focused on more than the other. No, it's everything. Everywhere's getting filled, which is perfect. So we're kind of covering all aspects with that. Policing, okay. Administration, we don't really have any welfare buildings. So that's maybe something that we need to look at some point as well. Garbage, we're okay with it. Electricity, we're okay. We can always keep producing more and more. Water's completely fine. That's amazing. Communication or telecoms, this is our telecoms coverage right now. You know, it could be better, but it's not bad. Post. Yeah, we do need to add some more post around in these areas that we're now expanded upon. Yeah, we're kind of falling short a little bit in a few areas, but we're just got to keep working upon it. And you can see our top exports, by the way. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. The majority of imports is coming from food, what people do need to eat and live. But there we go, boys. The island's ready to go. It just comes down to what airport do I utilize? I've got the connections in place. That metro line or subway line is going to end over here. So we've got this glorious setup on the go and an extension ready to kind of continue in a different direction. Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm really excited to start seeing them utilize this, as well as the subway trains tanking themselves up this and going across as well. It will be a sight to see, boys, a sight to see. Until next time, I see you all soon. So goodbye.